Right, Shalom Israel, Shalom. Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah, Barakatham. All right. Right, let's start by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shah. All right, Salakia, in the name of his one and only son, Yahweh Shah, who the world calls Jesus Christ. Now, what I want to do is I want to get into a recap of some sorts of the lesson that you recently saw with Mike Holloway and in the Deacon. Right, and Deacon did a masterful job chopping him up as normal, as is expected, right? But what I want to deal with is one thing that Holloway said, right? He tried to use Micah chapter 5 to save the other nations. He tried to use Micah chapter 5 to save the other nations. Let's take a look at this, all right? So let me share my screen, okay? Now let's look. We're going to go right into it. We ain't going to even play around. Now, Old Testament onlys will try to tell you that Micah chapter 5 is dealing with Hezekiah, right? So if you go back and watch that debate, you'll see that Mike Holloway kept saying what? Prophecy is already, but not yet, right? It's been partially fulfilled, but it has a more fuller fulfillment in the New Testament, which, you know, we're not even gonna deal with that, right? But in this situation, this prophecy does not pertain to Hezekiah at all. Some people during that time may have read it that way, but that's on them. This prophecy does not deal with Hezekiah. It's very simple, right? And we're gonna show that without a shadow of a doubt. This video gonna be very short, all right? Maximum edification, chop shop, let's do it. Right, so chapter 5 starts like this. Now gather thyself in troops, O daughter of troops. He have laid siege against us. They shall smite the judge of Israel with a rod upon the cheek. Whoever the judge of Israel is will be smitten with a rod upon the cheek. He's gonna be smitten, but it ain't gonna be nothing crazy. It's gonna be like a little tap, all right? But thou, Bethlehem Ephrathah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall come forth he that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting. That word right there, where it says the ruler, that's the mashal, all right, mashal. So you're going to be the mashal in Israel, right? Whose goings forth have been from of old, from everlasting. So we know that this ain't Hezekiah because his goings forth is not from everlasting. They want to try to say that, you know, the goings forth is from everlasting is dealing with, he was in the loins of David, and the word everlasting, olam, can be used to say of a long time ago. But we understand that the understanding of this verse right here, that is a little bit deeper than that, all right? And we're going to see how it's not Hezekiah. We're going to keep reading though. Verse 3, therefore will he give them up to the time that she which travaileth have brought forth, then the remnant of his brethren shall return to the children of Israel. Now let's pay attention. Whoever this is going to usher in the remnant of the brethren returning to the children of Israel. Did Hezekiah do that? Hezekiah reached out to the other tribes in the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 32 and 10, but everyone did not return. Let's go to that. 2 Chronicles 32 and 10, maximum edification. 32 and 10. And it says, thus saith Sennacherib, king of Assyria, whereon do ye trust, and ye that ye abide in the siege of Jerusalem? Doth not Hezekiah persuade you to give over yourselves to die by famine and by thirst, saying, the Lord our God shall deliver us out of the hand of the king of Assyria? So as we see here, Hezekiah was dealing with the king of the Assyrians. So your Old Testament onlys are going to tell you, see, brother, this is the land of Assyria. We talking about Hezekiah, right? And if you read that story, you're going to see that Hezekiah reached out to the other tribes. He sent letters to the other tribes that were scattered abroad and asked them to come back, petitioned them to come back, right? He tried to gather them, but we do understand that all of those tribes did not return. So he cannot be the person. And we also know that the kingdom was destroyed after that. So he still can't be the person, right? But we're going to keep going, right? I'm going to show you something. All right, I'm going to show you something. Verse 3 says, therefore he will give them up until the time when she travaileth have brought forth. Now, when it's talking about the time when she travaileth, we got to go to Micah chapter 4 and verse 9, right? Which is the previous chapter, to understand what that means. Let's read that real quick on the screen. Micah chapter 4 and verse 9 says, now why does thy cry aloud? Is there no king in thee? Is thy counselor perished? For pangs have taken thee as a woman in travail. So being sent out and your king being taken from you and your nation being taken from you and being in captivity is also the same as saying the woman is in travail, right? Jacob's trouble, maybe not the ultimate fulfillment of Jacob's trouble, but this is a time of trouble for Jacob. Jacob being Zion, Zion being a woman, the woman being in travail, all right? Now, check this out. Let's go back. He will give them up because remember, the judge that was smitten with the rod upon the cheek, he's going to give the people up for a certain amount of time, right? Because he was smitten on the cheek. Although it's not a death blow, it was a smite upon the cheek. It was a blow nonetheless. So he's going to give them up, says verse 3, until the time that Zion brings forth. Okay? Now, semicolon, then the remnant of the brethren shall return to the children of Israel. So this whole prophecy so far is about Israelites being gathered back, man, being gathered back to the covenant, being called to the marriage, being bid to the marriage. All right? Let's jump to verse 4. This is a very easy breakdown. We're going to see the error in this brother's ways, right? And we're going to pray that he repent, man, and understand the truth of the Bible. Okay? Verse 4, and he shall stand and feed in the strength of the Lord, in the majesty of the name of the Lord his God, and they shall abide. For now shall he be great unto the ends of the earth. What king was great unto the ends of the earth after Hezekiah? We know Solomon was great to the ends of the earth, right? Hezekiah was being besieged. Now, we do understand that the king of Assyria that came up against Hezekiah after Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, that king was destroyed by his own soldiers, right? By people in his own camp, basically. But to say that Hezekiah was great into the ends of the earth, that would not be correct. Now pay attention, because these next couple of verses are going to give you a clue. And he read these verses and he knew he was wrong. Verse 5, and this man shall be the peace when the Assyrians shall come into our land. He shall tread in our palaces. Then shall we raise against him 7 shepherds and 8 principal men. Verse 6, and they shall waste the land of Assyria with the sword. Whoever these people are going to waste the land of Assyria with the sword. Come on. And the land of Nimrod in the entrances thereof. Why Nimrod? As they brought it up in the video. Assyria took the northern kingdom into captivity. Nimrod is a spokesman for the Babylonian Empire, right? And the Neo-Babylonians ended up taking the southern kingdom into captivity. So this is just saying that whoever these 7 shepherds and 8 principal men are, these guys are going to lay the sword to the enemies of Israel. And they're going to return. That's why verse 3 said, then the remnant of his brethren shall return to the children of Israel. All right. Do you see how this all fits together? Verse 6 again, thus shall he deliver us from the Assyrian when he cometh into our land and when he treadeth within our borders. Hezekiah didn't do none of that. So this ain't Hezekiah. So let's keep rolling. And the remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from the Lord, as showers upon the grass that tarrieth not for man, nor waiteth for the sons of men. Now, this is the point. Verses 7 and 8, this is the point. All right. I'm gonna show you something. This is profound. Verses 7 and verses 8 are the same thing. They're parallel statements. The remnant of Jacob shall be in the midst of many people as a dew from the Lord. Verse 8, the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people as a lion among the beasts of the forest. So what he was saying was, when the Lord calls Jacob out of these other nations, which is why you got to preach the gospel to all nations. When the Lord calls Jacob out of all these nations, he's also going to call the Gentiles. Is that what that's saying? Look at verse 8. And the remnant of Jacob shall be among the Gentiles in the midst of many people as a lion among the beasts of the forest. What is a lion going to do? Devour, destroy, kill, eat. As a young lion among flocks of sheep. What is a lion going to do among flocks of sheep? Who, if he go through, both treadeth down and teareth in pieces, and none can deliver. That's what a lion's going to do. So what are you talking about, Mr. Holloway? What are you talking about? Verse 9 doubles down. Thine hand shall be lifted up among thy adversaries, and all thine enemies shall be cut off. This is not salvation for the other nations. This is destruction of the other nations. What are you talking about? Right? Let's get a second witness. And I'm gonna close it out there. Right? But we're gonna go to the book of Amos, chapter 9, and start at 8. Actually, let's pull it up here. Amos 9, start at 8. Okay, let's go. Behold, now this is dealing with the children of Israel being amongst the other nations. His main point was to say that the other nations will be gathered with the Israelites. Let's see what the prophecy says. Amos 9 and 8. Behold, the eyes of the Lord are upon the sinful kingdom. Why? That wouldn't Assyria in the land of Nimrod be associated with the sinful kingdom? And I will destroy it from off the face of the earth. Saving, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob. Saving, I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, saith Yahweh. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations as corn is sifted in a sieve. Yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. The Lord is not only going to gather Israel, he's going to sift Israel. He only going to get the chosen people, right? And not one grain shall fall upon the earth. Come on. All the sinners of my people shall die by the sword, which say the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David, which has to be Israelites, because that's who he's sifting. I will raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. Then shall the remnant of the children of Israel return. Do you see how these prophecies are parallel? They end time prophecies. They talking about the gathering of the Israelites. They talking about the destruction of the other nations. How can you possibly use Micah chapter 5 to say that the heathen is going to get salvation? That don't make no sense. If you continue to read down in Amos chapter 9, you'll see it clearly. So, hey, like I said, we're going to keep it short. That's all I got. I truly appreciate your time. And I pray that, we can continue to bid our people to the marriage in sincerity and truth. All right? Shalom.